Hey everybody, it's Nathan King here, and I have a bit of an update for y'all before I start things off. So basically, towards the end of next year, I have some big video projects that I'm working on that are probably going to take most of my year in order to complete, and I'm not going to have a whole lot of time to work on the channel and give you monthly uploads, or at least, high quality big video uploads throughout the year until the end of the year where those big projects drop. But at the same time, I didn't want to stop my monthly uploads or create a content drought, so I was trying to think of things I could do, and I had the idea of doing a show called Album Quickies, kind of in the same vein as YMS's movie Quickie reviews. Basically, I just listen to an album and then I give my thoughts about it. Not a whole lot of big editing or writing, not a huge script, not a whole lot of big jokes or cutaways, just a really low-key, give my opinion and record it kind of deal. One thing that y'all might find interesting is at the end of each quickie, I'm going to be asking for album recommendations, and then I'm going to pick an album from the comment section, and that'll be my next quickie. It's not going to be done by a voting system or by top comment or anything. Just everybody can comment, and then I'm just going to pick one that I want to do out of the bunch that y'all give me in the comment section, so look forward to that. That being said, we're going to start off today with an album that, for some reason, has been highly requested on this channel, and that is 17 by XXXTENTACION. Now, I guess before I go into the album itself, I should probably give a bit of my history with the artist. I'm going to be honest, I've never been that big of a follower, listener, or fan of X. I've heard a few of his songs here and there. Look at Me is fine. Young Brats is fine. Some of his other more sad boy shit I never really got into that much. But this is the first project that I've heard from him. If I had to describe this album in one word, it would be flaccid. In the very short 20-minute runtime of this album, there's not a whole lot being said or done or really anything being accomplished, to be honest. The album begins with a skit called The Explanation, which is just so self-aggrandizing and kind of pathetic. It's just X being like, oh, this album is my internal thoughts and my deep struggle, as he's saying it without a pop filter, so the P's are just like fucking atrocious sounding, terrible way to start the album. If you're trying to accomplish this feeling of it being raw, then just, like, I don't know, record it with, like, road noise in a car, or record it outside with some outside noise. Don't fucking just pee into the mic. It's fucking annoying, and it sounds fucking terrible. And also, as much as X, fucking masturbates himself over the album being his deepest, darkest thoughts and his innermost conflicts, most of the album is written with no writing. It's just shit like, I wanna die, and why'd you leave, and oh, loving is hard, and oh, you shouldn't love me, or oh, I feel sad, I feel bad. Nothing is done in a way that's particularly poetic or even just well written with a wide enough range of vocabulary to convey anything beyond a very surface level feeling. And that's just conceptually his writing. If we're talking things like pen game or rhyme scheme, not just in the rapper sense but in the singing way too, there's barely any rhymes throughout this entire album. Even some of the main choruses that have a decent melody, he just doesn't rhyme half the time, and it just makes it really feel like it's not written. It makes it feel like he's just going off the cuff, but in a way that could have been easily prevented for a better product. There's barely any rapping in this album, but the one song that did have some rapping, I thought the flow was okay, but once again, the lack of pen game really made it fall apart. I think the song with that flow was Everybody Dies in Their Nightmares, and the flow itself had a decent pace to it, but without the pen game and honestly, the fact that you can't fucking understand what he's saying, it just doesn't even work there. And that was a problem that was pretty consistent throughout. I know that bitching about mumble crap is kind of, a tired argument at this point. And I don't think that it's all bad, but X just sounds way worse when he's just mumbling. And it's not even mumbling, it's just he's just slurring his words to the point that you can't really understand what he's saying, and I had to look at the lyrics half the time. If we're talking about this album being flaccid, I think one of the biggest things to blame has to be the production. I think the stripped back production could work, like with the acoustic songs or a piano song or some of the lo-fi hip-hop production. I feel like a lot of that could work, but the problem is the instrumentals are the only thing that's stripped back. Meanwhile, X has a bunch of vocal layering going on and ad-libs and a bunch of other stuff that would fit better on a more highly produced project. But when you have all of this extra vocal stuff happening on a stripped back production, it just makes it feel like the production wasn't meant to be stripped back, and it just clashes in a way that doesn't really convey anything. I know that it's kind of silly to even bring it up, but, an album like A Crow Looked at Me, which, I'm sorry for bringing up when talking about 17 by X, but that's an album that is stripped back not only in the instrumentation, but also in the vocals, and it creates this desolate feeling. Meanwhile, you can have sad boy trap songs, and, you can have all of the ad-libs and vocal layering and all of the crazy stuff, but you gotta offer more in the production. Otherwise, it just feels like it's just incomplete, or that it's just a fucking demo or something. This whole album felt like it was filled to the brim with demos. I feel like the only song that really felt like a song was Fuck Love, which, to be honest, is one of the only songs I really recognized as having heard before, and I never was a big fan of the song, but in the context of the album, it's really the only one that has, like, a catchy melody to it, or anything really memorable or sticky, and to be honest, I think that's probably more Trippie Redd than X delivering on that song. I'm pretty sure he's the one who did the hook, and, I don't know, like I said, it's not even like that great of a song. It's just, compared to the rest of the album, it at least feels like something that, feels memorable at the very least. Everything else is just so fucking dead. Speaking of dead, Dead Inside just has some of the worst singing on the entire album. His vocal inflection is just very painful, and you can't understand what the fuck he's saying. Things like Revenge or Save Me or Orlando are just completely fucking forgettable. I don't even remember anything about those songs. I will say I do remember Save Me having some drums I like, but they were kind of low in the mix, and the rest of the instrumental on that was not that good, so it didn't really come up to anything. Overall, this album just, like I said, feels flaccid. The writing is juvenile, the lyricism is non-existent, X just doesn't have a very good vocal presence on this album, and his performance leaves a lot to be desired. The songwriting feels like it didn't even wake up in the morning, and the best song is a song that I've been pretty open about not liking in the past, which is Fuck Love. Overall, I'm happy that the album was short, and it wasn't unlistenable or completely atrocious. It was just really fucking lacking any kind of substance or any kind of pull to really engage me into the album and its world. And that's not even because I can't get into Sad Boy either. Ballads Won by Joji is probably my go-to Sad Boy album, and a lot of that has pretty stripped back production too, and probably a lot of the same tropes that this album falls into. But I think of songs like Attention off of that album, or Test Drive, and I don't know, the emotion comes through, I catch the vibe easier. I feel like Joji's vocal performance is just a lot prettier and a lot more appealing in a way that X, I just feel like, comes across as abrasive in his voice, to the point that it doesn't really work when he's trying to do the sad boy thing, at least for me. Not to mention, I feel like the songwriting on Ballads One is better, and even, other, like, radio hit sad boy trap songs, and even shit like Lil Peep. I feel like Lil Peep I could get into way more. I heard both of his, Call Me When You're Sober albums, and while not great, I would at least give those, like maybe 6.5s or something. Like, they had some good, like, catchy moments, and songs like Life is Beautiful or Falling Down, not X's part. I mean, those are pretty good. Like, Lil Peep has presence on that album. Joji has presence on Ballad 1. And I feel like 17 is just devoid of any presence or any impact of any kind. It's just a flaccid, short, substanceless album, and I'm probably going to forget most, if not all of it, by the time I'm done recording this. I give 17 by XXXTENTACION a 3.5 out of 10. What album do you want me to do a quickie on next? Leave it in the comment section and I might pick yours. We'll see what happens. If not, just keep commenting it and I'll probably pick it eventually. Hope you like these quickies. I'm going to be trying to knock these out maybe once every 2 weeks or something. Beyond that, I'm going to get back on working on new music. Going to be dropping every month, as well as the big video projects towards the end of next year. So catch me on Discord, catch me on Twitter, shit in the description. I'll probably live stream at some point or something, I don't know. And I got Christmas and New Year's videos coming out later this month, so keep an eye out for that. This is Nathan King from Unsubscribe and Mythos, I guess now, signing out. Peace.